My producer said I need to end on 50 Cent, so I imagine that this is good. So let's take a look at this clip and this information on 50 Cent. 50 Cent doesn't want to be 20 Cent.
Says this in a tweet. They said 50 Cent endorses Trump for president after seeing Biden's alleged tax plans. Katrina Pearson, who's with the Trump campaign, says, I guess 50 Cent don't want to end up 20 Cent. Jenna, I'll start with you.
Yeah, well, Katrina put it perfectly. And, you know, at the end of the day, people always vote for the candidate whose plan actually gives them the most freedom, the most liberty, and the most opportunity for themselves and their family for prosperity. And so, you know, we can deflect on all kinds of issues that, you know, Joe Biden is trying to.
Okay, let me put the picture on the screen. I'm trying to see. My producers be trying me sometimes, y'all, in a good way. Because sometimes I'm like, y'all put this in here intentionally to get me pissed off, didn't you? Because y'all like it when I snap and go off on people. Listen, 50 Cent, let me talk to 50 Cent. I'm talking expressly to 50 Cent. Listen, fam, you better hope we leave you with 20 Cent. Because my motto is to eat the rich. You better hope we leave you with 20 Cent before we come down your street and eat you, my dude. Talk about you don't want to be 20 Cent. First of all, you don't even understand top marginal tax. You're not going to be 50 Cent, 20 Cent, moron. But just this idea that you could be worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and you don't want to pay your fair share in this country, and you worried about you being 20 Cent, you better hope we leave you with 20 cents when we done with the rich in this country. See, I think my producers just be wanting to see me snap like this. Because when rich people start complaining, and the reality of it is that we got people out here dying. See, I wanted to end on a kumbaya note. I'm firing everybody. Y'all just wanted me to get mad. That's what you wanted, David. You wanted me to get mad. Because this dude is sitting here talking about, there are 45 million Americans without a job. And you worrying about paying higher taxes? There are hundreds of thousands of people who are being evicted. And you worried about paying higher taxes? With your shitty music. 50. I need you to hear me, bro. I don't care if you black. We eating the rich. We coming after everybody. We coming after rappers. We coming in after the prosperity gospel. I don't care what you can either tax the rich or we can eat the rich. Choose your path, my man. Because if we don't tax you, we got no choice but to eat you. Why my producers do that? I was trying to get zen. I was trying to be zen. Yeah. Somebody tell 50 Cent that we can either tax him, tell him Ben Dixon. I want everybody to tweet 50 Cent and let them know that Ben Dixon said that we can either tax the rich or we can eat the rich. You could either be 20 Cent or you could be digested. Thank you. Whichever producer is on, whatever producer is on Twitch, they understand. I need a zen moment. I need a moment of zen. I see why Jon Stewart used to end every show on. That's it. Wait a minute. You could be 20 Cent or you could be 2 Cent. You could be 20 Cent or you could be a 2-piece snack. And say hello to our guild team. Man, listen, okay. I want to go to bed. Y'all, I'm trying to tell you, this is not an idol. This is not a threat, right? The rich in this country are going to keep playing around until they realize that not only are they outnumbered, but their private forces and their private security are outnumbered. There are so many more people who are poor in this country and destitute in this country than they got bullets for. So while they may feel nice and secure because they have Blackwater security detail, they can't shoot us all. And what they're going to learn is if they keep being greedy, they are going to I'm the nicest. I am the nicest. Somebody actually said it to me. Somebody said this to me. They said, Ben, you're like the sweetest, Rebel, you're like the, well, how was his language? It was perfect. He said, you're like the kindest rabble rouser, or it was something else. It was something more, basically saying like, I'm the nicest person that you gonna get in this space. Everybody to the left of me wants to rip you apart. And the more people who are unemployed, more people who are homeless, more people who can't feed their children, the more people who can't get health care, the more people who go in bankruptcy because they got sick, the more people who are in debt because of college, the more that happens to people, the more people go further than I am. I'm the nicest that you're going to get. And I'm trying to tell y'all, rich folks, y'all gonna mess around and this is not to be bad. I'm trying to tell you as a warning. I'm trying to tell you that people can only take so much. Talk about you worried about 20 cents. All right. 50 gonna find out that those five. He said he was been hit with a few slugs, but he don't walk with a limp. Bro, y'all go keep playing around, and I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna find something to laugh about, but I'm gonna finish this whole thought process here. Let me just pose it with the question: how much more do you think that Americans can take? How much more do you think the people can take? We already lost 220,000 people. We already have 45 million people who are unemployed. We have millions of people we have even more people who are living on the edge of desperation, on the edge of destruction. If they miss one check, they are done for. How much more do you think people could take? Bro, you can either pay more in taxes or you could fuck around and find out that people can't take that much more. And that's coming from a guy who just want to go in the backyard and barbecue and play with my kids. Now think about people who got so much less than I have. They ain't got no nicely framed picture, even though the floor over here is crazy. And it's just like, if I tilted the camera a little bit, you'll see it ain't. But there's people who would give everything to have the modicum of stuff that I have. And they ain't got nothing to lose. I'm trying to tell y'all, we cannot move into the future. We will not survive unless we get rid of this individualism and this greed. Individualism and greed will destroy us. Because we have so few people who have so much. They have so much. I'm finally at the point where I don't have to struggle between paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been poor most of my life, and that's why I don't mind. At this point, I tell my wife, get whatever you want, cause you were right. This is why I don't mind. You know, if she don't want me to smoke weed no more, fine, babe, because you earned that, because you rolled with me through lights getting cut off. So you can get whatever you want, right? But I'm having a problem in that I feel like it's a weird space to not have to worry about paying your bills. Can I just be honest with you? It's a weird experience having money left over at the end of the month that I actually can go and buy. It's a weird ass feeling to be able to go and buy a laptop today. Brand new, not refurbished. And just buy it. I've never been able to do that in my life. And the only reason I'm telling you that is because there are way more people who don't have what I have in this country. And here I am at this turning point where it's finally I can actually save a little coin. But I feel required to continue to fight for folks who have so much less than me. And I feel required to reject greed, not out of guilt, but because there's so many people who don't have what we got. And so it completely and utterly blows my mind when a person can have $100 million and are so enraged at the thought that they could all of a sudden be worth $70 million. You're worth $40 billion. And you're doing everything that you can to stop yourself from being worth, I don't know, $28 billion. And that other amount that has been taxed helps to rectify the damage that was necessary in a system for you to be worth $40 billion in the first place. That's why I say, because I want to tell you something. There are far more people in this country who understand not having a dime left at the end of the month than there are people who understand being able to go and buy a laptop. I have had the privilege, I'm gonna count it all joy. I have had the unfortunate privilege of being on both sides of that event horizon, of that dividing line. I have been on unemployment. I've been on unemployment as a married man. You know? Shit. Talk about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity push you off a roof when you can't do the manly thing and take care of your family. I've been on that side most of my life. Shit. Till I got rid of Michael Bloomberg. Damn it. And then I went from being on this side of not making it to living paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck, just having enough. And now I'm on the side of, oh, snap. I go buy a laptop and not worry about it. I like telling y'all shit. I tell y'all shit that I shouldn't even tell y'all. I should be in bed. They knew what they were doing. They knew exactly what the hell they were doing. Let me see who texted me. Okay, the 3 tweets. He said there's 3 tweets. No, I don't even want to give 50 the benefit of the doubt. I'm not even gonna lay up on 50. I tell y'all too much. I was on the phone with Best Buy. It's the only place that had a laptop I could buy. I couldn't even get the one I wanted, but I got a good one. And you know, and the bank declined the purchase. And I got all bougie and sedate. I was like, the hell you mean decline? I know how much I got in my bank account. so I was like, excuse me, Mr. Best Buy guy, I need to put you on hold. Let me grab this other phone. I called the bank up. I let my balance play. I let my balance play out loud so he can hear. This is the stuff that you do when you've been poor all your life and you got a little bit leftover money in the bank and you like, you know, because normally, you know, y'all know you've been poor. You've been in the grocery store line. I wish I had a credit card. And you swipe that debit card and you like, I'm not sure if it's going to go. Oh, it went through. You've done that. That's been my experience. So when they declined my purchase, I'm like, what the hell is this? So I got them on the phone. I got the bank on the phone. All banks are evil, so I'm not even gonna say the name of them because they, you know, whoever we bank with, they're evil. I got them on the phone. They're like, well, Mr. Dixon, yes, we're aware that you have plenty of money in your account. was like, "You're goddamn right. I got some leftover change and I can afford this." And she was like, "But you have exceeded your daily spending limit." I said, what do you mean I've exceeded my daily limit? I'm just trying to buy a laptop. And I'm making sure the guy from Best Buy hears this so he don't think that I'm poor. This is the stuff you do. This is the type of just tomfoolery that you do when you've been poor all your life. I'm making light of it. I'm laughing at myself because I love self-deprecation. It makes me so much more comfortable just to be able to joke about and clown myself. But the true reality of it is that there are so many Americans whose everyday life experience is having their car decline, not because they've exceeded their spending limit, but because they had to pay their rent, right? And they are comfortable, because I've been there. I've been comfortable riding that bank account down to the penny because I had to, because Americans have to. And we are surrounded by a group of people who are worth an obscene amount of money, more money than they could spend in multiple lifetimes, who are so addicted to their greed that they can't imagine giving up 30% on taxes in order to alleviate a system just to moderate the pain, right? To make it tolerable for the people who are on the short end of the stick of capitalism. So that's why I say I'm laughing about it. I'm joking about it. I can tell you stories. I could tell you the story about the night my wife came over. We were dating, and she drove an hour to come see me from Miami, and I was living in West Palm. And she came to my place because I had my own place. But damn it, I forgot to pay the light bill. And I had just enough money to pay it, but I forgot to pay it. And I'm scrambling, and I'm driving around the city, because this was a long time ago. This is before I had an online account that you could just pay it and get it right back on. Nah, bro. We had to wait till my wife had to come, and my girlfriend at the time came over and stayed at my house with my lights off. I tell y'all the time, it's too goddamn much. So I could joke about it. I could laugh about it, because underneath it is a lot of trauma. There's a lot of pain. And underneath it is a reality that most Americans understand. Most of y'all in the comment section have been there, currently be there. And it's an overwhelming majority of poverty are living on the edge. And so when I tell them they can either let us tax the rich or we're going to eat the rich, it's because there are far more people who identify with what I'm saying. My poverty experience was, even though I'm laughing about it, we are deadly serious. And these millionaires and these billionaires better either pay their taxes or we will rectify this another way. And that's coming from a Disney dad who wants to go outside and watch his kids jump on a trampoline. And I want to tell you that I'm the nicest amongst us. Everything to the left of me is ready to fill in the blank. Let me see what the hell y'all saying. I haven't been reading y'all comments. I wonder if y'all have been cracking up at me telling all my business. Janice, that's when I knew. That's when I knew. I said if she could ride with me, and listen, I'll be in all transparency. It's not because, you could ride with somebody who is like reckless and isn't taking good risk and calculated risk. I wasn't reckless. Neither was she. It's just America is so fucking expensive. Like, we both had good jobs. Let me tell you, our first time in Boston was a poverty experience. And I want to I'll be honest with you, like, really, really think about this. Everything that I'm saying that is traumatic to me, everything that I'm saying that was traumatic to me is a situation that hundreds of thousands, if not millions of other people would kill for. Right? I want to put it in the proper perspective. Like, I grew up with hand-me-downs and clothes that we got from church members whose kids got too big for it and they passed it, and we were excited about that. There are people who would have killed to have access to clean clothes, used or not. So everything that I'm saying, it's not to valorize my experience. I'm saying it because, one, I got to laugh about it, and I hope that can make you laugh about it, because we've been so ashamed of talking about it. What is it, 12, 15? This is when I talk about poverty. It's a stigma. It's a shame that you don't want to discuss. And that's one of the reasons I discuss it the way that I do. That's one of the reasons I just tell you all that I have been like if it wasn't for my brother, I probably wouldn't be alive right now. Like he was like, Ben, he said, Ben, you're 39. Yeah, I was 39. He said, Ben, you're 39, you're overweight, and you're on the phone crying with me, stressed out. He don't talk like this, but this is what I mean. He said, now you at the right age for you to have a heart attack. And he said, now I need you to chill the hell out, because whatever you need, I got you. And he said, it ain't worth killing yourself over, stress-wise. You know how many people would have killed to be able to go and ask their brother for some money to survive? I know, I was 38. I wasn't 39. I was 38. I'm transparent about my poverty experience because, one, I need you to understand that if you, for a second, think that my experience was bad, then you really probably have no clue how bad it is in America. Because my experience, as bad as it was, is nothing compared to what most people go through with a poverty experience in America. Okay? Number two, I talk about my poverty experience because it took me I've been doing this politics thing for about going on 6 years. It took me 4 of those years to be willing to actually admit that I was poor, that I was doing this show and I was poor while doing this show, that I was working multiple jobs doing this show. My wife was working at the same time and we were poor. And the reason I talk about it, and I guess I've opened up a whole new part of the show because now we're at 1 hour and 30 minutes and I was going to go to bed 30 minutes ago, is because there's so many people who can't bring themselves to discuss it, because the dirty little secret in America is, because of social media, we all have to pretend like we're doing good. Okay? Truth of the matter is everybody on social media is lying in some form or fashion. And a lot of us, we may not lie and tell you that we're okay when we're actually in poverty, but we put on the best smiling face that we can. But number 3 is, if nobody ever talks about it, then we were never, ever able to connect the dots that it's not just us. Anybody listening to me right now who is struggling through poverty, I want you to understand that it is not just you. Anybody who's struggling with unemployment, it is not just you. Anybody who cannot understand for the life of you how you could be working 50 hours a week and have nothing left over at the end of the month, it is not just you. Anybody who has ever gone through the drive-through line and felt guilty and felt like I should go home and cook, but I can't afford the food in the grocery store, so I'm going to get this $2.99 value meal. Show you my age because ain't shit $2.99 anymore. It's not just you. Anybody who has had to rob their kids' piggy banks, it is not just you. And if we don't ever just be realistic and talk about this shit very candidly, then we will never understand that there is a vast amount of solidarity, because there are more Americans who know what it's like to rob their kids' piggy banks so that they can pay their goddamn bills. Okay? And if nobody else is going to be honest with you, fuck it, I will. What I got to lose? The least I can do is be truthful. Now I could buy a laptop. You know what I mean? But how? Poverty is traumatic. And as hard as my road was, there are so many people who would have killed for the opportunity to struggle in the way that I struggled. That said, I got to come back full circle one last time and tell 50 Cent and tell anybody else who has the luxury of having enough money in the bank to live off your capital gains versus your labor. Can I just tell you, you're outnumbered. You are severely outnumbered. You don't have enough guns. You don't have enough soldiers. There are more of us than there are you. And you can either let us tax the rich or we're going to eat the rich. And that's coming from the nicest guy on the fucking planet, who has more love and compassion and empathy than anybody else you're ever going to run into. But let me tell you something. You're outnumbered. I do. Why did you remind me of that? Y'all are not going to break me. I'm not going to cry on this show. Remember the 89-year-old pizza delivery working 30 hours a week because his Social Security wouldn't pay the bills? Disgusting. No legitimate reason that should happen in a rich company, in a rich country. She's never owned a laptop. I was so excited the first time I bought a laptop. I bought my first laptop that I just outright purchased myself. I still have it, actually. It was $300. It was refurbished, and it had 16 gigs of RAM. And I was like, I worked that thing to the bone. Matter of fact, I held on to that one laptop for so long. Oh shit. Hang on. I held on to that laptop for so long. I still have it, and I stopped using. It's what I produced the Michael Bloomberg segment on. I produced that Michael Bloomberg segment on that thing, and the disk drive fell out of it. I mean, the buttons were off of it, but I was working that thing to the end. And I only say that to say, there's people who've never been able to get a laptop. Oh, see. I thank you for sharing this, and if you post it here, my assumption is that you're okay with me sharing it with everybody. Let me change one setting real quick because I want these to stay on the screen just a little bit longer. They're going off the screen too fast. I want to leave them up there for 15 seconds so that I can read them. Thank you all for sharing, because I want people to understand that this transparency is about solidarity. It's not about anybody feeling bad for me. Because quite frankly, I'm about to be robbing these advertisers blind on these YouTube videos. I'm about to pimp the hell out of this system. I'm about to make so much money off these people. I don't care. Listen, let Donald Trump run ads on my channel. I'm going to take that man's money and I'm going to preach against him I don't care. Put a big oil company on my, because I'm going to preach against big oil. I'm about to rob them blind with my content. So I don't say this for anybody to feel bad for me or for anybody to go send me a donation. I say this because I need people to feel confident enough and comfortable enough being transparent about their poverty, because we need to connect the dots. We need to connect with the reality that there are more people who have been struggling paycheck to paycheck. And then there are other people who would kill to be able to get a paycheck, and that we all have solidarity with each other. And while I'm going to be robbing these advertisers on YouTube, I'm going to be taking them to the bank, and it is affording me the opportunity to be able to afford a laptop. I would never, ever, I could never. The taste of poverty is so fresh in my mouth. I don't care if I made $1 million on a video tomorrow. I still would be holding Best Buy up on the phone, letting them hear the balance on my account because I'm just so used to not having any money. And that's what you do when you've been poor all your life. You be like, listen, no, I'm not in the overdraft. I can afford this. I can afford this phone. I can honestly pay for it. I'll never betray. I would never be. I don't care if I become a billionaire, which I doubt I ever will. I can never betray that experience because I know so many more people are living that experience. So I want to put your comments on the screen. This is from Mosaic Crone. Said, my ex-husband not only robbed their piggy banks, he took their quarters out of their state quarter map. We got evicted often. I used to have to dumpster dive behind the grocery store. Larry Gulliford said, Ben, it's so true. I've been struggling for a while and I never thought myself as poor, even when we're eating ramen noodles most days from 2015 to 2017. Now I teach college and most of my furniture is still used stuff I got from other people. We have to talk about these things. Pranay, tell them, let them understand. Most people are not as nice as me. Most people are not as nice as me. I'm kind when I could be kind. Most people, as you could tell, there's a side of me that is dark, that is, hey, it's about that life in every sense. I actively suppress it because I want to be a good father. And I want to preserve this system for peace so my kids can have the same opportunity to improve on this country that I have. Most people don't bother with that headache that I put myself through. So y'all better listen to me. Because if you don't listen to me, man, there are folks that's ready to do this thing. That was worth it. So I'm not going to fire my producers because out of it came a session for us. I wasn't going to fire them anyway. Obviously, you know I wasn't going to fire them anyway. But out of that clip of 50 Cent came, I think, probably the most important moment in this show, in this stream ever. And that's a vulnerable moment. It's a moment of vulnerability to be able to admit that you struggle. It's a sensitive place. Like, I don't know. I feel it like I feel it in my, you know that feeling, you know that sensation when you have anxiety and you feel exposed and you feel like you say something and everybody can see past. That's why I always use self-deprecation. One, because that's the only comedy I'm good at. Two, because I always want people to understand very clearly that no matter how I just try to match my ego and my arrogance with humility. Because I know I'm good at what I do. I know I'm probably one of the best at what I do. And I know, like, I can frame this picture to look amazing. But I know just on the opposite side of that is a reality that is so fresh to me, that is so tender and still so painful that emotions well up as I talk about it. And the only reason I'm telling you that right now is because I think everybody who shared their story, you feel those emotions welling up inside of you right now because you exposed yourself. But if we never allow ourselves to be vulnerable to each other, and we never make that connection, then we'll never really understand how connected we really are. It's in that transparency. It's in our most vulnerable position. And what makes us more vulnerable than the reality that we have so many of us have been adults, fully grown adults responsible for other people, for small children. And we have been so... I looked at my wife about a year ago. And I told her, I said, babe, I give up because clearly I'm not able to provide for us. And I told her I wanted her to take charge. And I told her, because if you leave it up to me, apparently, I'm going to have us destitute. Now, I was high as shit when I said that. I was high as shit when I said that. But you know, when you high, you tell the truth. You tell the goddamn truth when you high. But I'm telling you that now. I don't know if these are tears of joy or laughter. I don't know what the hell this is, or if I don't know what the fuck I'm feeling right now. But I'm telling you this right now because you've been there, right? You've been there. You've experienced that. You felt that trauma. And I want you to know that I felt that trauma. And I want you to know that millions of people in this country, millions of people in your region have felt that trauma. Tens of millions of people, right? I would say a third of this country has felt that trauma of having to admit to themselves, if they've never been able to admit to anyone else, that they just can't win. They can't make it. You are not alone. And it's that solidarity. It is through that solidarity that we collectively as a people, we're going to get free. And everybody in this country is going to be able to, if not in our lifetime, in our children's lifetime, and not in their lifetime, in their children's lifetime, but everybody in this country is going to be given the opportunity to not have to live on the edge of survival, but they will have the ability to thrive.